Hey guys, Ina here. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video that I'm going to make, that I'm recording. As you can see, I'm alone on my ship. But the main reason for that is because there was something that I wanted to talk about that I thought would be interesting. And a couple things that I needed to talk about because they're sort of related to the channel and where I've been over the past few months. But I suppose I will save the channel updates for later. First things first, the thing that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about a problem that this game has had for, in my opinion, a very long time, essentially since its launch. And it's something that I have talked about before in some of my videos, and I've had some ideas about solutions to this problem that I have expressed in my videos as well, but it's kind of, I never went into detail on them, and it's kind of an idea of a solution that I have that's difficult to express over text. So this video is going to function twofold. It's going to be, first of all, it's going to be a video that I can essentially send to anyone who is interested in hearing about my solution for this particular problem, as well as also just a bit of a rambly video that I can upload onto YouTube, should people be interested in watching it. Not that I have any channel members, but regardless, so the issue has to do with something that I've seen a lot of people complaining about, and something that I too take issue with in this game, which is the armor, and specifically the armor passives. Now, the fact of the matter is that in this game, the armor passives don't really do anything helpful most of the time, and I'll elaborate on that. So recently, the thing that sort of inspired me to make this video in the first place is because I felt like I needed to give an in-depth response to a post that I saw on Reddit, which essentially just outlined this exact issue. It posted a meme making fun of the fact that there are dozens and dozens of armor sets in the games. Like, I mean, you go onto the armory, there are all these different armor sets. If they would load in, there are all these armor sets. I haven't even unlocked them all. Honestly, I probably have like half of them, and most of them are completely useless. And I responded in that post that, yeah, like, a lot of the armor passives are pretty useless. But I wanted to give a bit more in-depth response to that, because I think there's more to it. I think there's a solution that's a bit more, I guess we could say, interesting to this particular issue. So the main issue with armor passives is that people want to look good and also have an effective loadout. Now, me personally, I'm one of the few who's probably in a bit of a lucky situation, because as anyone who watches my other videos knows, I pretty much exclusively run the chrome armor set, this one that I'm wearing right now. And that's true outside of recordings. I don't think I've uploaded a video where I was not wearing this armor set. Like, ever since it came out, I was using it. And before it came out, because if you remember, this was the year 1 anniversary armor. So before this armor set came out, I used the where is it? I believe it was this one. Or no, that's the Super Citizen one. Maybe. I believe it was this one. And I pretty much haven't used any other armor, obviously, because Democracy Protects is, like, the best passive in the game, in my personal opinion. If not one of the best. I mean, it's just so far above all of the other armor passives, even the ones that are similar, that are like more protective focused, it's just so far above them in so many different ways, or in like every way, on so many levels, that it's just not worth taking anything else for me personally. And I kind of said this in my post, like, in my post on Reddit, like, Democracy Protects, apart from that one, the faster reload one from the Urban Legends Warbond, and the new stealth one, I don't have the new Warbond, but yeah, this one. Apart from these, none of the armor passives are really all that useful, in my opinion. And or the ones that are just like too situational to take every mission. So like the peak physique, or the flame-proof armor, or the arc-proof armor, like those kinds of things are good, but only in the particular situation where you know you're going to be up against fire enemies, or you know you're going to be using a lot of melee weapons, or you're trying to do a melee build, which isn't really an optimal build anyway. But regardless, the point is that these armor passives, I'm probably preaching to the choir at this point, because I imagine that most people watching this video already know and agree with these things. So here's the thing. People have suggested transmog. People have been asking for transmog. And I'm actually going to defend Arrowhead on this one. Their famous tweet of apples tasting like bacon is the reason that they don't want to add transmog. Now, ultimately, it's their game. They can do whatever they want. And I do have to partially agree with them that it is a bit weird to have, say, a medic running around with extra grenades, or a light armor running around with fortified. And you might say, oh, well, you could restrict certain passives to certain classes of armor. So you could say there'll never be any fortified light armor. I'll get to that in a minute, because that actually touches on my solution. So yeah, so I kind of have to agree with Arrowhead on that one. I also have to defend them on the one of the common criticisms of that particular defense is that, well, apples already taste like bacon, and the reason that people say this kind of thing is because they look at an armor like this, which anyone who watches my videos knows that this is Xy's armor of choice, which has engineering kit, so it gives +2 grenades, and look at all these grenades on it. Whereas in armor like this one, which is also engineering kit, where are the grenades? It has no extra grenades. Where is it holding these grenades? Like, literally, where are they? And people argue that, well, like, so that doesn't make any sense. Well, it kind of does. Like, I think this is a situation of, a game has to be mechanically balanced. You can't just give this armor 8 extra grenades just because of how it looks. You want to have a certain amount of mechanical, leeway, wiggle room, I should say. So when people say, well, apples already taste like bacon, that's kind of not really true. It's more like apples taste like fruit. And you could believe that an apple is an apple if it tastes like a fruit, even if it doesn't taste like apple, if you know what I'm saying. That probably doesn't make very much sense. But the point I'm getting at is, if we're going to talk about being specifically 100% realistic, Helldivers is not going to be 100% realistic. It's not, I mean, the gun I'm holding right now does not make any fucking sense. You cannot put a, whatchamacallit, you cannot put a strap an oil can onto a shotgun and expect it to shoot flaming pellets. That is not how that works. Okay? This weapon, if we are going by pure realism, this weapon should be removed from the game. It doesn't make any sense. That being said, it is believable. You could believe that this fits the context of the setting. It's not an entirely accurate setting. We're dropping in on hell pods. We are not being obliterated the moment we hit the ground, as we would be in real life. There's a certain level of verisimilitude to it. This fits that. Hell pods fit that. Armor, you could argue, fits that, but you could also argue that it doesn't. And I think what Arrowhead is trying to say is that, you know, putting democracy protects on this guy is past that line for them. And they also believe it's past that line for a lot of people. Now, of course, I don't want to speak for them, so if that's incorrect and they would correct me on that, then that's them. But I will say it's past that line for me as well. However, I do think the people who say that there are, to get back into my solution, I do think there are the people who say that there are solutions, there are things that would make some sense, are correct. I do think that there should be a partial transmog, in a sense. And this is the first part of my solution. The second part I'll get to in a bit, because it's going to be a bit of a hotter take, shall we say. But I do think there's a point. I think what would benefit the game is if we had mechanically customizable armor. Now let me explain what I mean by that. So, like we have weapon customization. You can go into a weapon, you can change the sight, you can change the barrel, you can change the underbarrel, you can change the muzzle, you can change the magazine. So you can adjust these certain aspects of the weapon. And my idea is that you are essentially going to, but there are a limited number of slots that you can adjust, right? You can't just, you know, not every weapon can be customized with everything. You can't put a drum mag on the Hulk, for example. You can't, I don't know. What's another example? I don't think I need a second example. But there are limits to how you can customize weapons. As there should be, in my opinion. Armor should work the same way. You have, and if you notice, a lot of these armor passives have multiple traits. So, Democracy Protects not only gives you 50% chance not to die when taking lethal damage, but it also prevents all damage from bleeding, then servo-assisted increases throwing range by 30% and provides 50% limb health. The grenade reduces recoil when crouching or prone and increases grenades. The unflinching provides 3 things, which prevents them from flinching, provides a higher armor rating, and gives the scanner passive. So, hopefully you see where I'm going with this. I think these things, these specific traits, should be able to be swapped out to a certain extent. Rather than just having a flat passive, have different armor have certain available traits, and then each, the player can individually select traits they want to apply to their armor. So, for example, unflinching is not going to have extra stims or increased stim effect duration. You're not going to be able to put that on the inspector, for example. But what you might be able to put on the inspector is, if I could find one, what might make sense? Maybe that's not a good example, because I can't really think of one right now. Plus 50% limb health. That makes sense. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Or maybe for a better example that's more clear. Yeah, Democracy Protects. You could be able to put extra padding on it. Where's the extra padding armor? Is this it? No. Where's the extra padding armor? This one. Yeah, provides a higher armor rating. You could put that on Democracy Protects. On the Crone armor. But, in order to do that, I would have to remove one of these. Either the all damage from bleeding or the chance to not die. The coin flip. Or this one's a scout. I could, instead of doing the markers, I could replace it with the other one. That's what is it? From the war bond that I don't have. Yeah, the less noise when moving. So I could do that instead of the scanner ping. So, and then you could say, I mean, if you needed to balance it, you could just say that each trait had a particular cost to it. You could, or like a point cost to it, you could say, and and then you can limit you could say that like the coin flip costs 2, because frankly I do think it's really, really good. Whereas most of the other ones would typically cost 1 or a half, and you can only have 2 points worth of traits applied to your armor. Or like, here's another one. Like, Master of Ceremony, why can't I put Democracy Protects on this armor? Or this one? Or the one from the Superstore. Where is it? Or this one. This looks Democracy protectable, does it not? I was looking for the Servants of Freedom armor. There it is. No, not that one. Ceremony. Masters of Ceremony. Might not be in rotation. Yeah, probably not in rotation right now. But yeah. So, that kind of thing. But, But yeah, but obviously you can't do it with anything. So each armor only has a certain traits that are able to be applied to it. I think I said that already. So that is the first part of my idea. I think that would work. I think that would be a really good compromise. People would have more flexibility in terms of looking cool rather than just choosing the armor that works for them. So I think that would fit both what the community wants and what Arrowhead is willing to do and wants for their game, which, again, it is their game, and ultimately they have the final say on what they want to do. Although, of course, the fact that Arrowhead does listen to their community is great, and you know, of course, I'm not going to be the one to say that that's not good, but yeah. I do think this is a good compromise that that could work. Now, the second part of this, and this would partially solve this problem, this whole transmog idea. But the second part of this is that the release routine for new armor is not efficient. So, what I mean by that is that every Warbond introduces a new armor passive. Now, Arrowhead's never explicitly made it clear that this has to be the case. They have released Warbonds before that did not introduce new armor passives. Specifically, well, Steeled Veterans came out with the launch of the game, but Polar Patriots and Viper or Democratic Detonation and Polar Patriots, all of these armors all had passives that existed in the game before. But ever since then, every new Warbond has come with a new armor passive and has not repeated armor passives. Now, I do think that's a good thing. I think Warbonds should keep doing that. But that creates a bit of a problem. This armor was the first armor, or the first siege-ready medium armor. The first medium armor with the siege-ready passive. Now, because of my idea, this is a bit less of an issue, but it's still something of an issue. In that Arrowhead needs... My idea might require a bit of work, and I don't think it would fully solve this problem. Or solve the core problem, which is that Arrowhead needs a better way of releasing armor, besides just Warbonds. Especially if they're only going to release 2 to 3 armors per Warbond. I mean, Siegebreakers only came with 2 armor. There is no light armor for Siegebreakers. And, I mean, this one did too, but there was a superstore. This one, there was also a superstore. The Killzone didn't have a second armor. There's no heavy armor with the Killzone passive. There's no light armor with the Siegebreakers passive. There is no, what was it? I think heavy armor with the ODS passive. And there's no heavy armor, which, actually, where is it? Yeah, this one, the Truth Enforcers. There's no heavy Truth Enforcers armor. And that one, I know for a fact there is demand for it, because Kits has said multiple times that he is waiting for the heavy armor Truth Enforcers armor. The heavy variant of the Truth Enforcers armor. Which just doesn't exist in the game. Because he hates being flinched by the bots. But he also hates light and medium armor. So that's kind of a problem. And some of my friends have suggested to release a war bond that's like the Forgotten Regiments or whatever, and just go back and fill out some of these gaps and release, like, you know, maybe it'll release a heavy redacted regiment armor, a heavy killzone armor, and a light Siegebreakers armor, for example. And by killzone armor, I don't mean like actual killzone armor, because obviously there would be legal obstacles to that. I mean like a heavy armor with the killzone passive, just to be clear. But I don't think that really solves the problem of releasing new armor that doesn't have a passive being difficult. It's still difficult. You still have to create a whole new warbond for it. And then you're releasing a warbond that doesn't have a new passive, ultimately. And that's not something that I think Arrowhead should do. I like the idea of every warbond having a new passive. It gives them more identity. And remember, people criticized Polar Patriots for not having any armor that benefited from being in cold environments. Like, I agree with that. So, that doesn't really solve those issues. And I think a potential solution to this, is, and I'm going to get a lot of anger for saying this, but just hear me out, is a battle pass system of sorts. And again, I know that this is going to cause a lot of people not undue frustration, but like immense frustration. And to that I say, just let me cook for a minute. So, obviously, it's not going to be a traditional battle pass. It's not going to be like Fortnite or COD or PUBG. It's not going to function, it's not going to operate on a FOMO system. It's going to be Arrowhead's spin on a battle pass, almost like a timed warbond of sorts. And I don't mean timed as in FOMO. So let me explain. So my idea is create a battle pass of sorts. It still functions the same as your typical battle pass, where there are tiered rewards. For playing the game, you gain XP. That XP goes into the battle pass, and then as you progress through the battle pass with each level, say there's like 25, 50, however many levels of the battle pass, as you progress through over the course of a 3-month seasonal period, 4-month seasonal period, you unlock rewards. And these rewards will be things like requisition slips, or medals, or super credits, or new armor or new weapons. And it could also be a way for Arrowhead to introduce new mechanics to the game without, or perhaps even new stratagems to the game, without either having to put them in a warbond or give them to us for free. They could add weapon skins to these battle passes. They could, They could add vehicle skins or Hellpod skins or any customization options. They could add literally anything to these battle passes. And now you might say, well, okay, isn't that FOMO? Isn't that pay to win? Well, no. Because these battle passes, I imagine it probably operate the same way as your typical battle pass, where there's a free version that everyone gets, and then there's a paid version where you have to use premium currency. So in this case, in the case of Helldivers, it would be super credits. And it would cost you a certain amount of super credits to purchase the premium pass. Now, you can buy the pass with the premium pass. Or you can buy the pass with super credits. And you will get it for the entire season. Likely 4 months. And during that time, you'll have your chance to level up through the course of the season by playing XP or by playing the game, getting XP and unlocking rewards. Then, when the season ends, and this is the important thing, when the season ends, everything in the battle pass that isn't like super credits, medals, resources basically, every unlockable item in the battle pass goes into the superstore rotation permanently at a premium to what the battle pass costed, because you want to encourage people to buy the battle pass, but into the superstore permanently at a premium super credit cost. And what this does is it not only gives Arrowhead another way to make money from their game, which they do need to do, without, making people feel forced to give them money. After all, I don't know how, but somehow everyone else who plays this game tells me that getting super credits is not a big deal. Well then, here's something to spend that mountain of super credits on that you apparently have. As you can see, I only have 1,100 super credits, and I don't even have every war bond unlocked. So I still don't know how they do it, but apparently they can do it. So that's something. Playing the game enough, you will be able to get most, if not all, of these battle passes. If you play the game enough. And of course the battle passes would reimburse you some of your super credits, just like the war bonds do. But what this does is it encourages people to play the game. Because currently, not only does it allow give Arrowhead an option to add whatever they want to the game whenever they want without having to tie it to a specific war bond and put it on a specific war bond release schedule, it allows them to also, it also encourages people to play the game outside of major updates. Because that's kind of a problem with this game as well, is that there'll be a major update, people will come and play the update for like a week, and then they'll drop off the game and leave it for a couple months. Well, Arrowhead wants, you want people to be consistently playing the game. So this kind of idea would encourage people, goodness, voice crack. This idea would encourage people to play the game more. And then there's no FOMO, because every unlockable item goes to the superstore. The only ones that don't are the resources, because, why would you put those in the superstore? There's no reason to put those in the superstore. But all of the armor, all of the skins, all of the weapons, all of the stratagems, all of the title cards, emotes, whatever, that was in the Battle Pass, both the free Battle Pass and the paid Battle Pass goes into the normal Superstore rotation afterwards. And then, now you're going to say, what are War Bonds for? War Bonds are going to be much bigger events. The Battle Pass is just going to be a seasonal thing. It's going to be, we're going to have the season of, I don't know, Truth Enforcers. I'm just making something up. We already have a Truth Enforcers War Bond, so it wouldn't be a Battle Pass. Or it would follow around major updates, probably, is what would happen. So right now we'd be in the Cyberstand season, and there would be a whole lot of stuff that's like anti-bot equipment, or you know, fun like Cyberstand inspired vehicle skins. Like you could get a mech with the fucking Vox engine paint scheme or something. I'm just spitballing ideas. But or maybe you would get like a laser gun that like is similar to the kinds of laser guns that bots have. That kind of thing, right? And then when it rotates, it all goes back to the Superstore. But War Bonds are going to be different. So War Bonds are going to be major events. They're not going to be 3 pages long. They're going to be much longer. Possibly. Possibly. They might be. I mean, some of them might not be. But they're going to be priced according to how long they are. So you could get another War Bond that's essentially the length of Helldivers Mobilize. And it would be a huge deal. There would be a ton of new weapons and armor and skins and things. You would have a ton of that. And these would function as your major free content drops. Your major free DLCs, quote unquote, would be these War Bonds. Rather than trying to stick to like a monthly release schedule that probably, you know, Sony gets pissed if they're a day late, and then they have to rush things out the door, and then you get shit that comes out half-baked, like these Killzone weapons, or what was the other one that really fucking pissed me off? I think it was this one that like really pissed me off, and it just felt like everything was like so gimmicky and like terrible. Or this one that doesn't even have a freaking primary in it. Doesn't even have a freaking primary weapon in it. There's no like these are the kinds of things I want to avoid with this. I want War Bonds to be, yeah, essentially the free DLCs, quote unquote free, because they would cost super credits like normal, but yeah, pretty much that's what the idea is. And the theory is that this would probably be pretty easy to implement. I don't think it would be too difficult to implement. It would mainly just change the way in which they release content rather than like requiring any major mechanical overhauls to the game. You would just need to add another tab here with like the Battle Pass information. And that's kind of my idea. I think it's a good one. I think it's one that both resolves the player's gripes related to armor and also just War Bonds and content in general, as well as like the inconsistent player base. I think it resolves a lot of problems that Helldivers currently has. And it does so in a way that isn't just giving us things for free, and actually gives the devs the ability to make money. Because I don't know how much money the devs are making from these war bonds. I hope it's enough to keep the lights on. I really do. But frankly, given what I've heard from the community, I'm not sure that it is. And with the way that up until like these last 2 war bonds, from what I can kind of tell, this one, they've been kind of half-baked and have felt kind of rushed to me. So my hope is that something like my idea would help resolve these issues. So that's my idea. That's about all I have to say on that. So if you were watching this video just for that idea, I mean, you can click off now, because I don't really think I have anything more to say about that. Apart from just give me your thoughts, comment your opinion, let me know what you think, share it, let Arrowhead know about this. I really think I'm onto something here, guys. I really do. But anyway, as for channel updates that I mentioned, once upon a time, I released a Helldivers video pretty much every day. That is no longer going to be the case, as you've probably noticed. First of all, recently, you probably noticed that I've uploaded videos when I was drunk as hell. And the reason for that is because I really don't have time to upload videos anymore. First of all, I left the United States, and I live in Tokyo now, which means that all of my friends who still live in the United States that I normally play with, in my usual play group, like Xe, Gray, Mike, Yorick, etc., they all still live in the States, but they're all sleeping when I am usually able to play. So this means that at their usual time, it's like 6 in the morning for me, 7 in the morning for me. So I'm usually not only drunk, because the only time I would be up at that time is if I had an event and I was up all night running the event. I would also be tired as fuck, because I would be running the event all night, and I would be drunk, and I would have not slept for at least 16 hours. In the case of these past few videos this past week, it was even longer than that. In the span of 48 hours, I had a total of 3 hours of sleep. I was not feeling good. But I figured that some content is better than leaving it hanging for another week. Which is also partially why I'm making this video, because I don't want to upload the 3rd video that I recorded, because it's just not good. Like I'm just really drunk, and it's not an entertaining video. I do terribly. I say it in the video, and if I do end up uploading the video, it's kind of timeless. It's not really like something that I would need to upload like concurrently for it to be relevant. So I could upload it at a later date and just give it some space, some breathing room between people being subjected to my drunk ass. So you might end up seeing it in the future, but not in the near future, more in the further future. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a good video. I did terribly. It's not bad enough that I'm definitely scrapping it, but like nothing about it is overtly bad. I just don't really think it's one of my best videos. And yeah, I do terribly. I think at the end of the video, I think the scorecard said like 60 kills and 6 deaths. Like I was 10 and 1 on K to D ratio on that match. And I know it's been a while since I played this game, but I like to think I'm not that bad at this game now. So, yeah. I mean, it was difficulty 10 Oshone, but still. So, that's kind of the reason why I made this video, is that I'm sort of trying to figure out if I can do these kind of rambly videos frequently.
Good luck.
I also don't know if I'm going to be able to upload every day. Well, I'm definitely not going to be able to upload every day. I might not be able to upload regularly. There's also the problem of the video quality in general being sub what it used to be. The main reason for that is because since I moved, I was not able to take my PC with me from the United States. So I am currently, I'm not sure if I've described this on video. I've actually had so much troubleshooting these videos, I'm not sure if it ended up getting scrapped or not. But to describe my setup, I had to buy a portable PC that I currently have hooked up into a microphone and a mouse, and both of those hooked into a laptop that is streaming Helldivers using Steam Screen Share from that portable PC. So, and by portable PC, I mean like a Steam Deck kind of thing. It's not a Steam Deck, it's like the Xbox version. Xbox's answer to the Steam Deck, I forget what it's called. But, yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing. This means there's a little bit of network trouble. The stream is a bit delayed from the actual what's actually going on. And I do think it's a bit of a handicap in terms of like my ability to play the game. But it is watchable. And that is more than I could say for these past few months. Because this laptop does not have a good graphics card, and it cannot run Helldivers. Currently, I am working. My intention is to work towards buying the parts I need to build my own PC that can run Helldivers and record and run Discord at the same time. But currently I am unemployed and I don't have the money for that, but that is going to be my priority to save towards once I do start working and start making money. And I also currently just don't have space for a PC right now. I live in a tiny room in a share house. This room doesn't even have room for a bed. I am in a pull-out futon, and that is where I sleep. And I have a tiny desk that I'm able to play this video game on. Currently, living conditions are not ideal. Now, you guys probably don't need a life detail story, my life story. So I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get into any more specifics than that. But all of that was just to point out that right now the situation does not lend itself to ideal recording conditions. So if there's a minor drop in... If you have noticed, apart from being drunk, a minor drop in general recording quality, and general video quality, that is probably why. I hope that it doesn't affect the viewing experience all that much. As far as I can tell, as long as I continue to ensure there's no lag, which there doesn't seem to be much lag, judging by OBS, this is hopefully a workable solution, a workable temporary solution. And I will hopefully be able to get uploading on a semi-frequent schedule. I am hoping that I will at least be able to do it weekly. Again, this also depends on timing, with if I am able to connect with my friends back in the United States or not. It's going to be difficult. That being said, if seeing as I do need content, and I almost hesitate to say this, but I am starting a Discord that right now is just for me and my friends, so that we have a place where we can record. But at some point in the future, I may consider opening it up to viewers and allowing viewers to join and join sessions. Currently, I don't think I have enough viewers for that. I frankly don't think there would be anyone who is watching this who would be interested in that. But I am opening it to the possibility. The thing is, if I did that, it would likely be paywalled, because I don't just want random people who see this to join. And right now I'm not willing to paywall any of my content. I'm not willing to ask people for money because I don't consider myself big enough. I don't feel like I've earned the right to ask people for money. So I'm not going to do that right now. But I'm just putting it out there that it is something that I have considered. And possibly it would solve the issue of time zones. If people who live outside the United States in a different time zone were to join that server. Currently, Neptune is the only person, as far as I'm aware, that plays with me on a semi-regular basis that lives outside the United States. Well, unless you count Shanaz, who's Canadian, but it's the same time zone, so it's not exactly helpful. And Dodon is Brazilian, but also same time zone. Doesn't really help. Yeah, everyone lives on that side of the world, pretty much. And so hopefully the problem will be resolved with a little bit of community input once I actually have a community to contribute. So, with that said, I think that's about everything that I wanted to talk about today. I hope the rambly video wasn't too boring for anyone watching this. And let me know what you think about the idea I had in regards to armor and how Arrowhead should implement new armor.